The diagnosis came like a freight train without brakes. No warnings, no symptoms beyond a few headaches and minor fatigue. Liam Spencer sat in the sterile, whitewashed office of Dr. Moretti, barely able to breathe as the words came out clinical and heavy. Aggressive lymphoma. Late stage. Inoperable. Treatment options limited. Chemotherapy might extend his time by months, perhaps a year at most, but there would be no cure. No miracle. He walked out into the Los Angeles sun, blinking as if he'd stepped onto a different planet. Life went on all around him, cars honking, kids laughing, couples fighting about lunch. But for Liam, everything had shifted. Everything except one thing: his daughters, Kelly and Beth. His light, his purpose, his final reason for every breath he had left. He didn't tell them. Not yet. Not right away. He told no one at first, not Hope, not Steffi, not Bill. He just sat in silence at the edge of Kelly's soccer practice and watched her run, hair bouncing, face red with joy, completely unaware that her father's time was slipping through his fingers like sand. And then he made his decision. No chemo. No tubes, no 4 drips, no dragging his girls through endless hospital corridors and watching himself waste away behind tired eyes. He wanted them to remember him. Not a broken version trapped in a hospital gown, but a father full of life, laughter, stories, and the kind of moments that could last a lifetime after he was gone. He started with a list. Not for him. For them. A bucket list made of memory, things they'd never forget, experiences that would cling to them long after he was just a picture on a shelf. He wrote it in one night, in a leather-bound journal Beth had given him last Christmas. The title, For My Girls, First. Watch the sunrise together in Bali, barefoot in the sand, hand in hand. Second, ride in a hot air balloon over Napa Valley, eyes wide with wonder, drifting into the clouds. Third, see real snow, fresh snow, powder-dusted mountaintops in the Alps. Beth had never even seen snow. Fourth, teach them how to drive a car on an open road. Let them steer into the wind. Fifth, tell them everything. Every truth. Every failure. Every choice he ever made for love. The list grew. So did the urgency. When he finally told Hope, it was calm, not chaos. She stood frozen in their living room, Beth's toys scattered around her feet, as he said the words she never wanted to hear. Hope collapsed onto the couch, gripping his hand like it could stop the decay inside him. "You're not even trying," she whispered. "I am trying," he replied. "I'm trying to live what I have left. I want to give them the best pieces of me, not the worst." Hope cried. Then she argued. Then she called Brooke. Brooke screamed. And then came Steffi. And Carter. And Ridge. And even Bill. Everyone had an opinion, a solution, an alternative, but Liam wouldn't move. So, finally, they moved for him. They made the calls. Got the flights. Pulled strings. Cleared calendars. Set aside grudges. Hope and Steffi, years at odds, agreed to make peace, for Kelly, for Beth, for Liam. Brooke swallowed her anger and let Carter take the logistical reins. Even Thomas offered support from afar, promising to keep Forrester afloat during the coming weeks. It began in Bali. They touched down at dawn. Kelly and Beth held Liam's hands as they walked barefoot across the cool sand. The sun peeked over the ocean, spilling gold across the horizon. Liam knelt between them, whispering stories about the sun being a giant firebird waking up to warm the world. The girls giggled. Hope watched from a distance, tears caught behind her eyes. Steffi stood next to her, silent. They didn't speak. They didn't need to. Then Napa. A crisp morning. The balloon rose with the sun, floating over vineyards and fields like something out of a fairy tale. Liam held Beth in his arms, Kelly beside him, the world beneath them shrinking, becoming small and soft. For a moment, they all forgot the clock ticking behind his ribs. They drifted. Just drifted. But it was in Switzerland that things began to crack. The Alps were breathtaking, but the altitude hit Liam harder than expected. He struggled to breathe, and that's when the truth began to bleed through. Kelly saw the way he winced, the way he leaned on hope, the way Steffi kept her phone close in case of emergencies. One night, Kelly crept down the hotel hallway and overheard Hope and Carter talking. "They said it's spreading fast," Carter whispered. "We may not make it through the rest of the list." "He doesn't want to die in a hospital," Hope said softly. "He wants to go like this. Free." Kelly stood frozen, the ice creeping into her chest. She didn't cry. Not yet. She just turned and went back to bed, curled up next to her father, and didn't say a word. But something had changed. The next day, she didn't eat, didn't laugh. She clung to Liam's hand and stared at him like she was memorizing every line on his face. He noticed. Later that night, she asked him directly, "Daddy, are you sick?" He tried to lie. Failed. He knelt in front of her, heart cracking, and said the words no father ever wants to say. "I won't be here forever, baby. But I'm here now. And I'm going to make every minute we have matter." She didn't cry. Not in front of him. She just nodded. But after he fell asleep, Hope found her sobbing under the covers. Beth joined her. They all held each other, 3 generations of love wrapped around one vanishing light. The list continued. They returned to the States and visited the Grand Canyon. Rode horses in Montana. Camped under the stars near Yosemite. Liam told them about every mistake he ever made. Every truth he wished he'd said sooner. Every moment he wasted that he wished he could take back. He told them to forgive quickly, love loudly, and never take for granted the people who show up when it matters. And then the last entry. Watch the stars fall in Joshua Tree. Together. It was just before midnight when they arrived. Carter brought telescopes. Brooke brought blankets. Ridge and Steffi set up a fire pit. Beth curled up against Hope. Kelly lay against Liam's chest. The meteor shower started slow. Then came alive. Light streaked the sky like fireworks. Wishes were whispered. Liam looked up and exhaled. Later that night, after everyone fell asleep, he wrote one final entry in the journal. To Kelly and Beth, "Don't remember how I left. Remember how I loved." That's all I ever wanted to get right. Dad. The next morning, he didn't wake up. He passed with the stars still fading from the sky, his arms around his daughters, the journal beside him. He never saw chemo, never touched a hospital bed. But he gave his daughters memories carved in diamond, the kind that endure. And as Los Angeles learned of his passing, something strange happened. For once, the Forresters and Logans didn't fight. There were no bitter speeches, no courtroom brawls. Just silence. Unity. A shared ache. At his memorial, Hope read the journal's final line aloud. Brooke held Beth. Steffi held Kelly. And somewhere beyond it all, Liam watched. And smiled. The sky above Mulholland Ridge was smeared with thick clouds, the air tense with the approaching storm. The winds howled through the canyon, carrying with them the cries of a terrified child and the metallic whir of a rescue chopper hovering precariously in place. In the eye of this chaos stood Luna Nozawa, her hair whipping around her face, a gun clutched in one hand and a walkie-talkie in the other. Behind her, young Kelly clung to the narrow ledge, her hands bound, her face streaked with dirt and tears, the edge of a 1,000-foot drop just inches from her heels. Above, the rescue helicopter swayed, blades slicing the air, its winch lowered but still far from the girl. Luna's voice cracked through the radio transmission with cold precision. This is not a negotiation. This is a trade. You want your daughter back, Steffi? Then come here. Alone. You step out of line, I shoot down that chopper, and she goes with it. Steffi stood a mile away on the other side of the canyon, surrounded by law enforcement, rescue crews, and a rapidly unraveling family. She gripped the receiver so tightly her knuckles turned white. Luna, don't do this, she said, her voice low and steady despite the panic behind it. She's just a child. She didn't do anything to you. She exists, Luna snarled through the static. She has your last name, your blood, your family, and she's everything I'm not. So this is your chance to fix it? Come take her place. Finn stood nearby, caught between fury and fear. His daughter was hanging by a thread, and his wife was being marched into the jaws of madness. Luna wasn't bluffing anymore. She had nothing left to lose, and she was determined to finish what she started. But Luna wasn't alone. Sheila Carter stood at the highest ledge, a sniper rifle in her arms, steady despite the wind. Her eyes locked onto her daughter through the scope. Below her, agents from the LAPD and Federal Task Force shouted orders, but Sheila wasn't listening. She had a clear shot. She had the skills. And, for once, she believed she had the moral clarity to do the unthinkable. She's not coming back from this, Sheila whispered to herself. And I won't let her take Kelly with her. Down below, Poppy screamed into a megaphone, begging Luna to stop. She sobbed, pleaded, knelt on the ground in anguish. But Luna didn't hear her anymore. Or if she did, she didn't care. Her mind had slipped fully into delusion. In her fractured world, this wasn't about revenge. It was restoration. Equilibrium. Kelly was collateral. Steffi was the target. And Luna was judge, jury, and executioner. The chopper above dipped as fuel ran low. The pilot called in warnings. They had minutes, not hours. Steffi pulled on a harness. Ignored everyone around her. She wasn't going to watch her daughter die, not without trying to stop it herself. Finn grabbed her arm. Steffi. No. She's my baby, Steffi said. If I don't go, she dies. Finn's voice cracked. And if you go, I lose you. We don't have a choice. She kissed him. Once. Briefly. And then she stepped into the lift that would lower her onto the opposite ledge. As Steffi descended into the gorge, the tension at the cliff's edge reached a breaking point. Luna could see her approaching. Her breath quickened. Her hand gripped the gun tighter. She aimed it at the helicopter. At Kelly. Then at Steffi. You really came, she said, half smiling, half crying. You wanted me, Steffi replied calmly. I'm here. Let Kelly go. She's still yours, Luna spat. Your perfect little life. I was never good enough. Never picked. Never chosen. You got everything. Steffi took a step closer. And this is how you think you'll get it? By threatening a child? By killing her father's daughter? She was never my father, Luna snapped. He was yours. Everything was yours. Until now. She turned toward Kelly again, raising the gun. Above, Sheila exhaled. Finger on the trigger. Forgive me. And that's when Finn moved. Without thinking, he threw off his jacket, ran down the cliffside path, ignoring protocol, ignoring agents shouting behind him, and launched himself across a side ridge that curved around toward Luna's position. She saw him too late. He tackled her, hard, but not before the gun went off. A bullet cracked into the cliff wall, inches from the winch line. The impact knocked Luna toward the edge. She grabbed for a root, but it broke. She slipped. Steffi lunged and caught her hand. Again. It was the same moment repeating, the same chance to save the woman who had tried to kill her again and again. But Luna didn't beg. She didn't plead. "Let go," she said. "Not this time," Steffi gritted. She pulled. Finn scrambled to help. Together, they got Luna back up, pinned her to the ground as the chopper lowered toward Kelly. The girl was pulled up to safety moments later, sobbing, calling out for her mother. Steffi looked up. "She's safe." Finn collapsed beside her. "So are you." Sheila lowered her rifle, eyes full of tears she didn't wipe away. She watched as agents cuffed Luna and led her away. Screaming, crying, laughing, her mind too far gone for redemption. Sheila turned and walked to the edge, staring down at the scene below. Poppy came up behind her. "I would have pulled the trigger," Sheila said. "I know," Poppy replied. "That's what scares me." But neither of them moved. Down below, Steffi and Finn held each other as the helicopter lifted Kelly into their arms, safe at last. It was over. Not clean. Not quiet. But over. Luna would spend the rest of her life in a psychiatric facility. Sheila turned herself in, offering full cooperation. Poppy faded into seclusion, guilt-ridden and hollow. And Steffi? She walked back into the Forrester estate a survivor. Again. And this time, nothing would take her family from her. Not delusion. Not obsession. Not blood. Just life. Raw. Brutal, and still worth fighting for.